Hello and welcome to Tara Smith's Kitchen. Sorry I haven't been live for a while. My job's been really killing me. But I do need the money, so I can't complain. And it's telling me it's not going everywhere. Okay, cool. How to remove Rumble from the stream. Rumble was not cooperating. So, this is going to Tara Smith's Kitchen on YouTube and on Twitch, because Rumble just doesn't want to do what it's supposed to do today. And I've been having breathing issues, so we're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna make beef and barley just because it's that time of year, and it'll stick to your ribs. And I gotta take this to work with me. And I might make like some blueberry muffins, and I will tell you how they turn out. So I'm gonna put some salt in there. I have 2 pounds of hamburger meat from HEB, of course, if you can read that. And it might be a little bit too lean. It's like 85% lean. I kind of use the drippings, so we're going to see how this turns out. I may have to add some oil to it. I do not know. And I do know that this is 2 pounds of hamburger meat, and we are going to brown this and set it aside. If we have enough drippings, we'll just use the drippings, and if we don't, we'll add some oil or some grease or something to it. And we will go from there. But we'll have some vegetables that we're going to cook down and saute and all that good stuff. Sorry about that. But we're just browning meat at the moment. See how I feel. I may do, while the barley's cooking, I may fix some muffins. If I can find where she put the barley. So, if you're out there watching, thank you. I said, sorry I haven't been live in a while. I have been out of town with work. They sent me to Washington and I came back. Oh, this week's going to be fun. So, we're going to see where it leads. I'm wanting to do some baking videos and actually put some more videos out again. But I haven't had enough time with everything else that I'm doing. So, we'll see. Maybe make some cookies or some rolls or something like that. But at the moment, I'm just generally tired. Don't really have a lot of people showing up just yet. Let me go to the Discord. And I'll put a message out there. It's my Discord. Make sure I'm online. I usually don't I don't mean out. I usually don't at everyone. Hello, Bjorn. How are you doing? Oh, geez, sorry for the ping. Haven't been live in a while. See what that does. Also, I do have a Discord channel and a few other things. A Patreon, which I put links to my Patreon at the top of the chat if you're interested in supporting me on Patreon. Yes, I'm always chopping up the hamburger meat with a spatula. You will see why in a minute. Or maybe you won't. I don't know. Having problems breathing today. Hopefully you're staying warm up there in Michigan, Mr. Bjorn. I'm kind of glad my other load canceled, so I see all the ice and snow on my way back. After the first, I may go back to Washington. I may go to Michigan. Depends on what loads are moving. They both pay good. And as always, I need money. Hey, like YouTube's paying the bills. I don't even make anything on YouTube. The one channel I make anything on isn't wanting to work today, and that's Rumble. I am monetized on Rumble, but we're talking like 5 cents, 10 cents per video. So it's, maybe if I keep making money at the rate that I am, because you got to make $50 to pull it out, I may have that $50 in like maybe 2030, 2031, somewhere around there. So yeah, if you think you're going to do this and pay your bills, I got news for you. I kind of just splashed everything. And that will go to the dog. That is why we have a dog. He eats things like that. He's the garbage disposal. It was in the 50s and raining. Good, good, good. It's better than freezing and snowing. I was looking at what was happening on like I-80 and in Colorado and places like that. They were getting hammered. It's that time of year. And of course, they're talking about global warming. All these places haven't had a white Christmas in so long. And I get so sick of driving in the snow. I want to start a new party. The pro-global warming party in the frozen madness. That is a joke, by the way. Actually, if it gets a lot colder, the snow's not as bad. Because, well, if y'all live in those climates, you know the difference between a dry snow and a wet snow and what you can drive in and what you can't. It seems like we're getting more and more wet snow when we get snow. And that's harder to drive in, and it packs down and it makes ice. And that is just no good. I've already got my vegetables chopped up. So we're going to see how this goes. Yeah, this is my lunch tomorrow and the next day and the next day. See how bad my check looks next week because I got a 3-day week on it again. Because of coming back. Well, technically I got paid on the one trip already. Because it paid out. And I got in at like, what was it, Sunday, Monday, whatever it was. And then I had to run, whatever. But it is what it is. I haven't been live for a while, so I thought I'd go live. And I would cook something for you. We might actually get enough drippings in here. I might not need to add anything. We will see. I don't want too big chunks of hamburger meat. And like I said, this is 2 pounds of hamburger meat. It's 85-15. 80-20 will probably be a little better because you want those drippings. But if it's too lean, you can always add oil, a little olive oil, or a little bacon grease or something like that. I would have probably added bacon grease. Keep it nice and chopped up there. And for this dish, I'm using 1 large onion. I had 2 really big carrots, so I only chopped up 2 carrots. 3 little cloves of garlic that I smashed up and chopped up. And those are all right here. We are going to use 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, a teaspoon of marjoram, a teaspoon of oregano, and probably a half a teaspoon of thyme, which I should have already found but have not. So when it comes that time, I'll be looking through there. And I will be adding 8 cups of beef broth. And I'm going to use better than bouillon because I use that a lot. I like it. It's pretty good. But if you don't have that, it's perfectly fine just to use regular old beef broth, beef stock, beef bouillon. Just try to make sure it's beef if you can. If not, you can. I've done this with chicken, and chicken works pretty good. So does vegetable. It's just beef is better. And I have my coffee. See if I made anyone mad. I hope not. Of course, someone else might be live. Probably Yankee or one of them. Yeah, Yankee's live. I know a lot of my viewers watch that. I got a comment on there. And 3 people watching. Awesome. If you're out there, leave a comment. Let me know you're there. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. That would be awesome. I appreciate it. My tiny kitchen. I have a bowl I washed out earlier. And if you don't get all of the meat out of here, it's not the end of the world. Just saute it in there with the vegetables. It'll be good. We're just sort of creating a flavor palette, like everything else. Use a lot of onion, a lot of celery. I'm not using celery right now. A lot of carrots, garlic. Half the time I'm making a roux. Basically somewhere between Maripo and Trinity, or using one or the other. It's generally a base for about half of what I cook. I want to make kolaches again soon. That takes too long to do as a live video. Unless I make a couple of batches of it and then start like towards the end of one of the batches. One day I'll get that figured out. So how much of this I can get out of here? Save as much of the grease as I can. And yes, I am moving slow. I'm tired. Holidays have worn me out. I don't know if there's something in the air, but I'm not exactly breathing good today. There are all these refineries and stuff down here, so who knows? My niece has been in the hospital with asthma really bad. At least it didn't start bothering me till COVID. COVID gave me asthma and COPD. It's always wonderful. Coffee cup. That's in here. Or at least for now. And I'll put this in here. There's our onion, our carrots, and our garlic. And get that grease all over everything. Nothing has to really be chopped up perfect. As long as it'll fit on a fork, you're good. Or a spoon. Like I said, I'm tired. It'll fit on a spoon, you're good. And there we go. I don't think it's possible to go live anymore without corking someone. I need a spoon. A small spoon. And some hot water. That's because it mixes better. About a quart. Oh, you need ramen. Good ramen is actually good. Bad ramen ain't bad, especially when you're broke. I keep ramen on the truck. I've had the cheap stuff so much that I'm like, I buy good ramen. I feel like if I'm going to have a drink, I'm going to drink something good. And yeah, I do mix this a little bit heavy. But I can do whatever I want. If it doesn't completely blend in, you're fine. It's just going to get really hot when you pour it in there. At that point, it will definitely blend in or mix in, however you want to call it. I just want to have that ready. We are going to stir this. Anytime you take the lid off and you're holding it to the side, realize that you are going to have steam, also known as boiling water, in a gas form, condensating on the lid, and it's going to roll and you can burn yourself with it. So be careful that you do not burn yourself. I do need my measuring spoon wherever it is. There. Cool. So what do we need? Marjoram, oregano, rosemary. I don't need rosemary. Although my aunt's name is Rosemary. She's a wonderful woman. Thyme. Here we go. And I have all of this. Go ahead and set that. No, ramen can be good. I went to a Japanese steakhouse last night because nothing was thought out at home. Nothing was as it should be. That happens from time to time. Color. Waiting for my onions to get just a little bit clear. And you don't have to add the meat in before you add the barley. You can wait till the end and then put it back in, but I generally mix everything together. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I might mix it together. I might wait. I have options. Thought about making a crock pot meal, like roast beef or something like that, or beef stew or something. I may do that. I got everything I need for it. I got potatoes, carrots, garlic, everything else. Okay, now they're starting to change color. So, some margarine, 1 teaspoon. Trying not to cough. Oregano, 1 teaspoon. Now we have thyme. Ground thyme can sometimes come out like cumin or something in a chunk if you're not careful. That's about 1/2 teaspoon. Oh, you've made the noodles for the ramen. That's awesome. We'll start smelling the onion and the garlic and the carrot with the rest of the spices. But if you really think about it, the onion and the garlic and the carrot, they're all spices. You're adding flavor to the food. We have another spoon. I don't want to use the other one. Pour a little of this broth that I already have ready in the can. There we go. Looks a little weird. Looks a little weird. Sorry about that. Looks a little weird at first. You're mixing everything in. That's about to change. It's 2 quarts that we're adding to it of the Better Than Bouillon beef base. You can just use beef broth, beef stock, beef bouillon, whatever you have available. I just prefer to use this. Mix that in real good. You're trying a new house. Well, hopefully it works out for you. I've lived in the same house for, 22 years. That's kind of where I'm at on housing. I'll turn the heat up because I'm wanting to bring this to a boil. Oh, you're trying to find a new house. I think the market's better where you are than it is in a lot of places. Just not for a good reason. More because the auto industry kind of died. I got relatives up there in Michigan, and they'll rent warehouses for insanely cheap prices and start a business out of it and stuff like that. Kind of like West Texas. The oil field dies and you can get a lot of stuff cheap. Then it booms and the price is insane. But I don't know what it costs to rent a house anymore. I know we were looking at buying houses and even, buying a new one and even fairly equivalent to this one. It cost me twice what this one does. The size of the house is fine, just a little bigger kitchen and a bigger garage. And right now, I don't think that's a good idea because it would just cost too much money. I'm fighting to keep my payments down because, like most people, I work my taxes in with my home note, my mortgage, because I don't want to come up with that at the end of the year. That causes my note to go up, and it went up way too much this year. And the governor was supposed to assign something to help us out. We'll find out in about 3 months when they retabulate everything. So wish me luck on that one. I do not know what she did with the barley. That is what I'm looking for. Ah, here it is. Quaker medium barley. This stuff. And I might make this to try it out. These things never open how you want them to. Supposed to be able to just press here and it opens up and it pours out, but it's never how you want it to. Grandma may have been able to do that. I can't. It actually kind of opened up right. So maybe I need to complain about it every time I open one. And it'll open up correctly for me. Where are my other ones? Okay. I'm gonna have to rinse that out and use it. So it's 3/4 cup for 4 cups, and I'm going to use more than that. Probably going to go about 1.25 cups. Sometimes when you try to make things work off of the measurements, it doesn't go exactly how you would think. Like if you just double the measurements and stuff like that, sometimes it doesn't quite work out. Hold on. There we go. Don't think I need a cup and a half though. Probably like right between a cup and a half and a cup and a third. The other thing too, much like rice, if you leave it in the fridge, it's going to continue to soak up the juices of whatever you made. That'll work. That is just under a cup and a half. I'm going to go ahead and add the meat back to it. Be careful you don't splash yourself. And that is going to take probably about 40 minutes to cook. And when it's done, it will be done. You can always try just a little piece of it and make sure it's done. Always taste your food. I would add a little bit of salt, but I added some salt in the beginning with the hamburger meat. And to anyone on Twitch out there, because apparently I have some people watching on Twitch. Hello, how are you? Let's see if I can pull Twitch up. See if I'll... Well, your comment should be showing up if you leave a comment. Should. There we go. And I pulled Twitch up just in case. Yarn says he wants some land, 10 acres or more. I would love to have that, but I don't want to take care of it. If you understand what I'm saying there. So, how much is this going to make? I'm reading the back of this. So, looks like whoever was on Twitch is not on Twitch now. And I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit. I just want a low kind of boil there. now that it's going good. Are they back on Twitch? I had one. It wants 3/4 cup of milk, 3 eggs, and a half cup of butter, or vegetable oil or coconut oil. I do have vegetable oil, but butter would taste better. I don't know why she's screaming in the back room. I do not know why she's screaming. Hold on 1 minute. I'll be back. Sorry about that. There was a cat getting into some leather stuff. My motorcycle stuff. So I'm going to have to clean out a pan here for a bowl. I don't have a lot of stuff I'm working with. And there we go. And I do have a muffin pan. Oh, I forgot to set this. My little ladybug timer. That'll work. And clean this out again because it's in a minute. It'll be 24 muffins. I got 12 and 12. We'll do 2 of these. Or 12 standard muffins. It's kind of what I'm going for. Do I have anything in the oven? No, I do not. Go ahead and preheat the oven to 375. Three-quarter cup of milk, 3 eggs, and a half cup of butter. So I'm gonna have to move this out of the way because she set it in the way. Makes my life fun. Where did she put the milk? I'll start with the 3/4 cups of milk. A little bit more. There we go. Pour that in here. I'm going to need a 1/2 cup of butter. Now I'm just using this HEB sweet cream salted butter. It wants a 1/2 cup, so that is 1 stick of butter. And I'm going to place this in the microwave for, that's what it does in 30 seconds. And then I'm going to need eggs. Of which I will need 3. Also need a whisk. I don't know where the whisk is. Oh yeah. There's a whisk. That melt the butter. Needs a little bit more. That butter is cold. What y'all saying over here? I would be on Rumble, but Rumble is causing issues. Anybody wondering about that? Okay, so I'm going to have to do, apparently there's blueberries in here. I'm going to have to rinse them and set them to the side after I mix this. There we go. Now it's melted. Show you what I'm doing. I'll get another camera one day. Do the eggs. I generally mix this stuff up first. And then I put the batter in there. Mix those up real good. And then I'll put them with the rest of it. And I'll mix that up real good. Don't worry, I'll be moving the muffin pan over there in just a minute. Once again, this is what I'm using. The blueberries come in a can, so you're going to need a can opener. I'm going to have to find a can opener. I want to see what I'm doing. Hey Corey, how you doing? I'm okay. Been having breathing issues today. And I'm making beef and barley, and I'm making some blueberry muffins from a box. We'll see how good they are, and if I'll give them my seal of approval. They're pretty easy to make. I'm preheating the oven to 375. I'm making the batter right now, which is 3/4 cups of milk, a 1/2 cup of butter, and 3 eggs. I believe I'm supposed to kind of fold the blueberries in here, which is what I'm about to do. So I got the batter all mixed. Hey, Hamburger Helper works. Ain't nothing wrong with Hamburger Helper. There's been a many nights I stuck that on the table and I'm like, you either eat it or you starve because I'm tired. I have to open this can of blueberries. Drain them and rinse them. So they give you actual blueberries. There we go. I don't know how well the quote-unquote folding it in is going to work, but we're about to find out. basically, I think what it is they don't want you to mess up the blueberries. They want you to kind of stir it in here, nice and easy. So that you don't have smushed blueberries. And so that's what I'll try to do. And that should be mixed in pretty good. And the batter tastes good. Do need to spray this with something. Even though it's nonstick, I'm going to spray it. Why? Because I do. That's why. We are going to try to fill these. About 3/4 full. See how many of these we get. His blueberries look pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a good heaping spoonful in each one. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to start adding to it with what's left. And I should come out about right. Hopefully. I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Oh, I got the message, Corey, but I haven't opened it yet. I've been doing so many other things today. I'll probably watch it tonight or tomorrow while I'm loading. I tried to do a video for my other channel because I have 2 product reviews to do. And I was just breathing too hard, so I'm going to have to redo them. The product works very well, which is a Route 1 Nelson rig under seat attachment for, you know, like strapping a bag to your seat if you don't have a sissy bar or something like that. Just my breathing was way too heavy, so I'm going to redo it. And I need to order their straps for it, not just the ones that I have. I think their straps will work better. Which one will this go in? That one. Trying to divvy it up evenly if I can. Not promising anything. It's getting there though. I have 2 product reviews to do. One is a high-tail ponytail holder. I need to attach that to my helmet. I don't know if I'm going to do that when I get home tomorrow or what. So it's going to take a little bit of doing. I've actually been talking to them. The other one is just the workers over at Cycle Gear wanted me to do a review on a product that I ordered because apparently other people are interested in it as well. And they want to know how good it is. Does it work? What have you? How hard it is to set up and all that good stuff. I can do this from scratch, but it's going to be longer than a live video needs to be. So I figured I'd try these since most people anymore want to try the box at the grocery store. And maybe do some reviews on from the box, which sometimes I use. I kind of like doing things from scratch if I can. What does this box say? 19 to 21 minutes. That actually works out really well for our other timer. Cool. That is cool. I'm going to beat this on the counter, kind of set them down a little bit. I'll show you. May sound weird, but it works. And that is going to go in there for about 19-20 minutes. So I took up 20 minutes of the 40-minute cook time with that. Well, 20-30 minutes. Stir this. And yes, it has grease from the hamburger meat. So if you put it in the fridge, you're going to have that little layer on top. Take a look at that. I'm hoping this one's a little bit more soupy. You can add more barley or you can put in less of the beef stock or the bouillon or what have you and make it thicker. But I'm going to put this in the microwave at work when they're doing the whole pH thing on my trailer. So I'm doing that load again tomorrow. And I will have food to eat. Either that or when I'm unloading, I'll use their microwave and I'll heat it up. So you still out there, Corey? I think Bjorn's still out there. I'm not sure. Still out there, leave a comment. I don't have the volume turned up. Oh, you're still out there? Cool. Awesome. Awesome. I will watch that video. If you look on my other channel at the community tab, I think I posted a picture of the product I was testing out today. I'll put a comment. I'm going to redo the video. So what I was doing is I had my helmet on and I was using the GoPro on the front of it so I could look at what I'm doing. And you could kind of see that. But with my breathing, it didn't work out too well because I was breathing too heavy. And the microphone is like, a half inch from your face. So even normal breathing can sound heavy. I am about to need more coffee. Coffee is crucial. So I could have made something else in here. I was going to make brownies, but I don't know where my brownie pan is. I need to find that. Messages. My sister posted something. It wasn't on my niece, though. Weird things posting on here. Some of the stuff people post is just weird. But my niece is in the hospital with asthma. So, kind of a family thing, kind of not. It wasn't an issue with me until I got COVID. For like the third or the fourth time. Then it became an issue. Okay, put the eggs up. I'll get the creamer. I think I'd just be happy with a place where I could have a bigger refrigerator. That would be awesome. And I am not using that because that is hers. A bigger refrigerator would be awesome. And get the sugar, which isn't sugar. It's stevia. A lot of fake sugar in this house. Because I live with a diabetic and I am pre-diabetic. So, we try to cut down on the sugar. It's like a game you can't win. Because it's not just sugar, it's carbs too. What is my heritage again? Depends on which side of the family we're talking about. Um, on my dad's side, it is Slavic, English, and Nordic. And there's some Irish in there as well, but the Irish is, I think that's a kind of Nordic descent. You know anything about Ireland? But it's basically Bohemia, the Czech Republic, uh, Norway, and Ireland, and England. And on the other side of my family, it is English, like a descendant of Sir John Whatley. He got a land grant, I think 1600 in Virginia. You can look him up on the internet. Sir John Whatley. He's from Frome, Somerset, England. And I think they're actually of French descent, those invaders of England. So if you look at the history of that island, the people who invaded, whether it was the Romans or the English or the Vikings, you know, the Angles and all that stuff, Saxons, they took the good farmland, which is what England is, and they pushed all the Celts and Picts and all them out to Scotland, Ireland, and Wales, because things like coal weren't as important at the time, or they would all be in Wales, which is where that stuff ended up being. But the other side, I got the English, and then I've got the Irish, the Scotch Irish, French, like Louisiana French, and one of my great grandmothers is named Lafayette. And then I have a great great grandmother who is on the rolls, and my great grandfather was born on a reservation in Oklahoma. So if you add all that together, that's Slavic, Nordic, Irish, English, French, and Cherokee. So I'm Heinz 57. A mixture of like everything but German. My sisters are half German because my stepfather, his family, I believe they immigrated over here either before or after World War One, and they are like German German. My grandfather on that side and his brothers and sisters, when they would get together, they all spoke German at home. My stepfather spoke a little German as well. One of my sisters speaks a lot of German. She took that in high school. You know, just like I'd take Russian or Czech or something. I do have some of that mixed in with my family too. It's just not as much. Like Ukraine and Russia and Belarus. And all my mom's siblings, as well as her, they all married Slavic people. So it's like, okay. So on both sides, I get the Slavic cooking and all that. And I ended up with a lot of these great aunts that were, for the most part, like my cousin's grandmothers. And they definitely spoke Czech. So I've got that kind of on both sides in that way. Yeah, I want to do that 23andMe as well. The government already has my DNA, so I mean, what am I worried about? China getting it? I mean, hell, I've probably got some of the same DNA there too. Because I mean, what is it? A tenth of the population over there is related to Genghis Khan. So, I think my aunt did something like that, and my aunt, hers showed up. Um, she had, I think, French, English, um, of course, Slavic, which all of us come from the Ukraine over there, and then it branches out like a tree to Russia and Poland. The Poles have a really good story about that. If you ever look it up, it's like Czech, Rus, and something else. That's where the language starts and all that. Basically, when the Germanic people moved away from where the Slavs are now, and the Slavs took it over, that whole migration. But there's somehow in the DNA, like, what is it, Western Asian or something like that in there on her. So I should have that in mind somewhere. But I mean, if you go back far enough on all of us, you're going to find everything, especially in America, because we're so mixed up. I mean, I've had ancestors here, my European ancestors here are starting in like the year 1600. So it gets all mixed up in there. There's plenty of breeding. Check out my muffins. Oh, the muffins look good. And essentially all these immigrant populations that came in would, they would mix in with the general population within a generation or two. Dog, put that back. Dennis? Dennis? No. No. Go. If she wanted you to have that, she would have given it to you. No. No. I'm sorry. My dog was being a dog. He's not really doing anything bad. He's just going where his nose leads him. The cover wants to clone us so they can replace us. I don't know. There's a good chance me and you might be related somewhere. We've got family in the same places, at least down here. Literally the same counties. Places where if I was going to go on a date, I'd be like, how much do you look like me? And I told my sister that when she moved back down here from Oklahoma. It's like, if you're talking to somebody and they look like they could be related, they might be if you go over on that side of town. Oh, cool. Otzi had arterial sclerosis. Healthiest diet you could possibly have. And he's still at it. I'm supposedly related to Leif Erikson by way of like Iceland and Greenland, that whole Norwegian thing coming across that way. But I haven't tracked that down 100% for sure. But those are names that run in my family. Like Bjorn and Leif and Albetsa, which means Elizabeth, and stuff like that. On one side, they run in there. My cousin's son, he's named Leif. Leif. I generally just call him Leif. Yeah, that's the county I'm talking about. Too many people I'm related to And when my mom's maiden name is engraved in buildings there in the concrete, you know, yeah, I don't live there. I live on the opposite side of town. But most of my cousins, especially the male cousins, are, you know, well, my little group, they're all like 6'2" to 6'4" ish. And you get out, and my second cousins are like 6'6", 6'8", 6'10". One of my cousins, he played, I believe he was defensive line for the Saints and the Oilers. And he's actually my mom's first cousin. So it's like mine once removed or whatever. And his brother is just as big as he is. And so there's a lot of athletes and stuff like that. There's one of them, if you get, well, there's two Todd Watleys. One of them played football, and the other, he, if you look at a pack, like if you buy Wrangler Pro Rodeo, if they still have that book in the back of them, you have a little yellow book. In the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame is my grandfather's cousin, which is the other Todd Watley, and he's in that book. So you're related to Ragnar. Cool. That is awesome. The royal family in England, both of the princes, are related to what's his name? Rollo. Because of that whole thing. Charlemagne. And what was it? Charlemagne's son, our grandson, gave him the land that was Normandy, which means Northman's land. And one of his descendants was, I believe, William the Conqueror. And if you follow that whole line, in a way, the Vikings won. They were converted to Christianity, but their bloodline still runs through all the royal families. They won the War of the Roses, if you follow that. Okay, the muffins are about 2 done, so I should have already taken them out. I think they'll be okay though. This thing does not want me to grab it. There are my muffins. And the soup should be done. I would like to track down for sure if I'm related to Leif Erikson. There's a DNA test you can do that they do in, I think, Iceland or somewhere. But obviously, a lot of people there are just because of where it is. And they have that same problem that Canada did with the inbreeding. Your wife is related to Henry VIII. That is cool. There we go. Oh, they're still soft. They're not burnt. That took them out just in time. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Turn the oven off. That could go a little bit longer. Just a wee bit. I'm gonna let this cook like maybe 5 minutes longer. If you track us back long enough, we're all gonna end up in Africa. So it's one of the reasons I don't understand racism. But if you really look at it throughout most of human history, most people who ever lived never saw someone of another race. And we waged war against people who are identical to ourselves, saying they were different. The McLeods were attacking the McDonaldsons or whatever and waging war on them. They were different, and none of the other clan could be of any good, you know? And anytime we ran into somebody who really was different, they brought whatever diseases they had that we weren't immune to or didn't have any defenses to, like what happened to the natives. You know, the Spanish came over and introduced smallpox and talked about all these big cities and all that stuff. And by the time everybody else got over there, smallpox ravaged the land, killed off most of the population. Like, where are all these people they were talking about? Well, the disease killed them. You know, stuff like that. Or if they were more technologically advanced in warfare, what have you, they would conquer you. You would be their slaves. So I think there's something probably genetically involved there, where there's something in our heads that doesn't trust things that are different, that maybe it's going to take a while before, just like as a species, we overcome that, if that makes any sense. You know, it's like we've got to develop that because our whole world's connected now. You get online, you play video games with somebody in Japan or South Africa or Australia or, you know, Russia, China, what have you. Our supply lines are connected. People are flying back and forth all over the world every day. We're eventually going to look like Pacific Islanders or something, you know, by the time all the interbreeding's done. Maybe that'll cure racism. I don't know. You have to sing that song every time she says it. That's pretty cool. To me, shit people are shit people. They come in every race. Every race, every political persuasion, everything. And that's just the way they are. How am I going to do this? You can wipe this off if I'm going to use it. Rinse it off or something. You take something out of the cabinet. There we go. And they all come. So I will get a tiny, cute little tray to put a muffin on to have with my coffee. That is the muffin. I'll break it open for you there. Blueberry muffin. It's pretty good. So if you want to make blueberry muffins, Krusty's, if you're in Texas, I know they have this at HEB. I don't know about the other places. But if you see this, it's pretty good. And I'll remove this. And we'll try this once more. Well, you love blueberry muffins. You see that at the store. It's pretty easy to make. I just made them. Follow the directions. Although it says you can use vegetable oil and stuff like that, I've noticed in making things like that from the box, use butter, and it turns out way better. That took 3/4 cup of milk, 3 eggs, a stick of butter, which is a half a cup of butter, the mix that I mixed it all up, and you drain the blueberries it comes with, you wash them, you put them in there. And that turned out pretty good. So now, here is my supper. I'll have to let this cool. And divvy it up so I can take it to work. I wanted it to have a little bit more juice, which is why it does. But if you put this in the fridge, it's going to continue to soak that up, and that is beef and barley. I used, what would I put in here? 1 large onion. I used a sweet onion. Well, first I browned 2 pounds of hamburger meat. I removed that, and in the drippings, I put 1 large onion, 2 large carrots. They were pretty big. I would use 3 if they're not big. And I chopped them up fairly small, not huge. I'll show you. That's the size of the carrots. And I used 3 cloves of garlic that I smashed them and chopped them up. Then I added a teaspoon of marjoram, which is right here. Marjoram, which is sweet oregano. It's in the oregano family. It basically is oregano. And some places call it sweet oregano. This is sweet and oregano is savory. So this is just regular oregano. I use a teaspoon of each. Like I said, oregano is savory and that one's sweet. And then I use ground thyme. Doesn't have to be ground. I used a half a teaspoon of that. I use Better Than Bouillon, roasted beef base. 8 cups worth. And I used right between 1 1/3 and 1 1/2 cup of barley. And it took about 50 minutes from there to cook the soup, which is beef and barley. It's more stew than soup, but you know. It's something that'll stick to your ribs. And like I said, it'll continue to soak up that juice in the fridge. But I wanted some juice just because the weather's getting colder. And I wanted something that would stick to the ribs. That's it. And I have my blueberry muffin. Oh yeah, I have my coffee too. Without coffee, people die. So I doubt your family's that starving. But you go feed your family, and I'm going to get off here. I'm close to 2 hours as it is. Meal's done. I got to let this cool off, dish it up. And I got to be up in like 5, 6 hours, anyways. I need to get some sleep, and I have to go to work. So, y'all take care. Thank you for watching. And I will catch all of y'all later. I do have, if you haven't liked, subbed, or subscribed, please do so. And up at the top of the chat, I'll put a link to my Patreon. If anyone wishes to donate to my Patreon, it serves both my channels. And I will catch you all later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.